it's just great for walking football. Like I said, it's the fastest growing sport around, and the women's game in particular is growing probably faster than anything else at the moment. So for us to be able to bring 3 women's teams over here is just brilliant.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, and we are underway now, as you'll see, here on pitch 2, and the action has commenced with Guernsey men over 60s kicking off for us. But it's England over 65s in possession. I'll just be calling them England and Guernsey for the purposes of this match, otherwise it's a bit of a mouthful. And referee Nigel Genner there blowing up and bringing the ball back to his feet for a restart. And it will be Guernsey with possession. So the sun's shining brightly, but not a punishing temperature here. There's a nice cool breeze blowing across the Foots Lane pitch here. And ball sent forward by Guernsey, but that's out of play for throw-in. Say throw-in out of habit, of course, is actually a kick-in. So England in possession. Intercepted there, but Guernsey can't take control of the ball. That's Andy Coleman there, sharp off the mark. England on the attack now. It's Howard Payne, the most forward of the players. O'Mahony takes the ball over to, that's Dave Jones wearing the number 5 shirt. And England building a reasonable attack there, but there's too much force in that challenge, and Guernsey have possession once again. So a quick word to Barry Brayo from the referee there, and in fact it's going to be an England free kick. And a ball forward immediately. Oh, it's a lovely little back heel there from Howard Payne, but the shot in the end is well over. And so it'll be Guernsey's custodian who's able to clear the ball out for Guernsey to try and build something from here. So first outing then for this England men's over 65s, as we were hearing from Stuart Langworthy there. First international appointment for them. And it's very much their early pressure. A good defensive block there by the Guernsey number 3, that's Steve Potter. Again, it's England applying the pressure, all the action down this end, which is pretty good for our cameraman. Not necessarily quite so good for the Guernsey over 60s. Can't quite get the ball away from their half, and that's a nice little dummy there, set up the shooting opportunity for Michael Rowell, but the shot was high and wide. And referee Genner asking the ball to be brought back to him. So Guernsey get us underway again. Steve Potter sending the ball forward to Paul Rogers. Sends the ball inside. There was a body check there, some body contact. So that's, in walking football, an automatic whistle. And it's adjudged that that was England's fault, so it's Guernsey's free kick. What can they build here? Well, that's intercepted. And in the end, it's gone behind from Paul Rogers. So it'll be an England goal kick. O'Mahony on the ball there. There's the referee's blown up there. I'm not sure what that infringement was, but Guernsey have it back. I think the referee's not happy with either where that was taken or the time it took to take the free kick. But we're underway again with Guernsey in control of the ball for now. That's Coleman shielding the ball. Here he is once again doing the same thing, looking for options. And eventually he finds one in the shape of Steve Potter. And here's a chance perhaps for England. Oh no, that's a good interception. Well controlled in defence there. And a bit of a desperate lunge forward there by Barry Brayo. Concedes possession, but in the end it's back to the Guernsey keeper. Brayo again, Brayo again on the ball. That's decent work on the flank there by Paul Rogers, but again, Guernsey unable to get any traction going forward. Decent defensive work from the front from England here. No, that's not been allowed. A little 1-2 there. I think perhaps running was the issue there. And so England have possession. This is a pretty good position for them to have a free kick. They're lining up their options here. And the shot comes in, but it's well blocked there by the number 27, Steve Down. If you hear a cheer going up, that's because there's been a goal for England women over on the other pitch. Still waiting for the teams in this match to open their accounts. Brayo again looking for some options, and that's been intercepted, and very well intercepted too. And the number 7 there has a wild shot. That was Howard Payne. Nicked the ball very cleverly off Steve Potter. Very quick interception there, and concentrated on moving as fast as he could there without actually breaking into a run, but his shot was a little wayward. And so England go back into defence to collect the ball. It's Colin Hayden passing it back to his keeper. And now England with a bit of space to work with here. Is their number 3 is going to take a shot there. Well, haven't quite got their shooting range sorted out here at the moment. A few sighters, shall we say. But certainly England providing the majority of the opportunities thus far. And a too strong a challenge there, body contact, and it's going to be an England free kick. A few words as well to that's Andy Coleman from referee Genna. A little dummy there, and a shot, and that's got through. And so that's Brendan O'Mahony who's opened the scoring for England men's over 65s, and we were hearing from Stuart Langworthy, this is their first international match, and so he goes down as being their first ever goal scorer. So a goal there from Brendan O'Mahony, and England take the lead. Stuart.
Yeah, excellent start, and just on the adjacent pitch, almost simultaneously our ladies took the lead as well, 1-0 against the Guernsey women. So really thrilled for these guys. This is their first international match. We have organised a few friendly games for them, and they've looked very, very good. So that's a brilliant start for the guys. Well done.
Yeah, there'll only ever be one first ever goal scorer for an England over 65s team, and that honour goes to Brendan O'Mahony. No one will take that away from him, whatever the result, but England are looking pretty strong here in this match so far, so they'll feel that they are certainly favourites to go on and win this. And so we have them 1-0 up after 8 minutes played so far of the 25 that we have in this first half.
What people who are watching will notice, it's a very technical game. There's you can't put the ball into space in this game and run onto it. So it's a very technical game. The first touch is vital for players, and the ability to pass and move into space is absolutely vital. So these England over 65s at the minute are demonstrating really, really good movement off the ball and really good passing skills. You've just got to keep the ball.
And we saw a specific technique there of the number 7, who is Howard Payne, picking up decent speed and not running, but walking in a way that is almost like race walking. Is that something they specifically train for?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we do have some videos that we use to show people, but you're right, it's about digging your heel in, trying to keep a straight leg if you can, and yeah, it's about speed walking. just because it's walking doesn't mean it all has to be ambling at a very slow pace. You know, you can see from this that this is quite a fast, exciting game, and our guys are all 65 years or older, and shots are raining in at the moment at the Guernsey goal, so it looks quite a dominant performance from our guys at the moment, which is really good to see.
Yeah, it certainly has been pretty much all England, but it's just 1-0, and while it remains at that scoreline, the Guernsey over 60s will feel that they've got a decent chance to get back into this, and they are currently in possession. We've got a substitution being made here. That's what's going on over on the right-hand side of the pitch there. Nigel Gennett inviting on the Guernsey number 12. Is that? I can't read the number on his back quite yet. It's number 12, who's Jeff Martel, and a shot goes wide from Guernsey there from long range. So Jeff Martel joins the fray, and he'll be aiming to get Guernsey back to parity, with England leading 1-0 thus far. And a decent shot there, a hammered left foot shot from Steve Potter. I think it was always slightly high, but tipped over nonetheless by the England custodian, and England have possession once again. So ball forward guided back to his keeper there by Breo. And Guernsey start again with Potter on the ball. It's a longish ball forward. Well, that's out of range for Paul Rogers. And so that'll be England taking possession once again, with Dave Jones over on the far side. Bring the ball forward to Payne. And that's a good interception there, and body contact from the England defender. That was well done by Steve Down. Nipped in there quickly, got the ball, shielded it, drew the foul, and got Guernsey back into possession. Potter forward then now. Back again to Potter. Got limited options here, it seems. Well, that's a decent ball forward, and that's a good shot there. Very close range from Steve Down, but blocked by Cameroon. And now there's a warning from Nigel Gennett. He seems to be listing off a number of infringements to Guernsey's number 2, Paul Rogers. So it's a bit of a verbal warning there. That's for running, yeah. And again, the referee is rather impatiently explaining to Rogers that having just spoken to him, he's broken into a trot again, and so it's an England free kick. So that's something that he's going to have to be very careful of for the remainder of the game. He's received several warnings. Oh, that's a great through ball there, but has he overcooked it? No. Payne is able to retrieve this, but the ball in is too close to the keeper, and Guernsey have the ball back. So Rogers on the ball then. Back to Potter. Trying to, that's surely a run, yes. That's Steve Down. The temptation, it must be really quite a discipline to master in this form of the game, to resist breaking into a run at moments like that. But Guernsey are unable to resist that temptation, and so concede once again another free kick to England. Payne on the ball again, and then through to Omani, the goal scorer, and that's a decent save. Strong right hand there to prevent any further danger, and a doubling of the lead. So it remains at 1-0. So Guernsey trying to build something again, and it's back to the keeper. And once more out to Rogers. He's looking to his teammates for support or some options. So it's Martel, I should say, was on the ball there. Unable to control that ball. The ball goes high, and so the free kick is conceded. Long range shot now, and a great save there That was Dave Jones with a shot from distance. And I think the keeper's well warmed up now. He's certainly been kept busy and showing strong hands once again. We've got a corner now to England. The pressure is pretty much relentless from them. Jones on the ball again. He's back to Rowell. Oh, sorry, that was Payne to Jones, I should say. Looking for further options. And this is Rowell with a shot. Oh, it's just to the goalkeeper's left. And we saw the referee there, Stuart Langworthy, with repeated warnings to Rogers on the Guernsey team there for running. How much of a discipline is it to learn in this game to stop yourself from running?
It's so difficult, and it's one of the most difficult issues of the game. That, as you see, there is running, but the referees have to deal with it. These guys have played football for probably many years, and they've always run. So to train yourself not to run onto the ball is very difficult. And sometimes I play the game myself. Sometimes you don't even realise you're doing it, and you'll find that most people.
Oh, and sorry to interrupt you there, but Guernsey have worked a beautiful goal there down the right and finished off with some nifty footwork by Paul Rogers. That was some impressive football for Guernsey to gain parity. It's now 1-1 after 16 minutes of this opening encounter on pitch 2. And so, yeah, that was a decent equaliser there, Stuart.
That's a lovely finish. I mean, you often find this in walking football. You don't need to blast the ball. He opened his body out, the body shape was perfect, and he just passed it into the corner, which was a really tidy finish.
And another shot there from England, but this time slightly wide from Rowell. And yep, some fine work there from the Guernsey team with the finish there from Rogers. And they're looking for another opportunity with the ball thundering across there, but that one's a little overhit, and so it's going to be England back in possession once again. So Guernsey on the attack once again, and a reasonable shot there from Barry Bray with the outside of his foot, but it was straight at the keeper in truth in the end. And we've got England on the attack once more. Ball forward in towards the keeper, but it's going to be a corner conceded there. And while this corner is lined up, Stuart, tell us about the sin bin that we saw being invoked there.
Yeah, the referee gave a warning to one of the Guernsey players. He held, I would say he held two fingers up, but he basically let the third official know that the Guernsey player was on two warnings. So now the Guernsey manager has a choice. He either takes that player or substitutes that player, or if the Guernsey player gets a third indiscretion, then he goes in the sin bin for 2 minutes. So that's another unique part about walking football, is that we have a sin bin. In order to make sure that the players don't make contact and don't run. If they make 3 infringements, then they're off. They're in the sin bin for 2 minutes. So as a manager, you're constantly trying to juggle things around and keep your full lot of players on the pitch.
Okay, so we've got a dangerous situation here for Guernsey with England with a free kick just outside of the area. And Rowell over the ball. Plays it to Jones. And there's contact there, and there's going to be some discipline against the number 27 for Guernsey there. That's Steve Down showing the blue card. Tell us about that, Steve.
Well, that looked like he could have blocked the player off there. That's probably his third offence, which is why he's been given the blue card. I wouldn't have thought that was worthy of a straight blue card, but Guernsey are up against it now with a player short. Oh, and England just hit the post there.
So that's a sin bin offence then. So that's 2 minutes, and of course that is a big impact. You know, we see sin bin, for example. Some of the people watching this coverage might be more familiar with that from, say, rugby, where you've got 15 people on the pitch, but when there's 6 aside, it's a huge impact. It
is a huge impact, and we work with our players on this. We try and work with our players to make sure that now that we defend. I mean, Guernsey are 1-1 here, and there's actually no need for them to throw people forward now for 2 minutes. You can just keep the ball at the back and keep it tight and just frustrate England and stop us from making the most of our one-player advantage.
Indeed. Well, they nevertheless were trying to get forward there, but Steve Potter once again breaking into a run and so conceding possession as a result. And referee Nigel Genner yet again having to give the warnings there, and so we have another blue card. So we've got two simultaneously in the sin bin. This is not looking good for Guernsey right now, Steve. Stuart.
No, down to 3. So England have really got to make the most of this at the moment. 5 against 3. Like I say, as a manager, if our players get on 2, you really do have a difficult decision to make. You know, do you leave them on and hope that they don't infringe again, or if you've got substitutes, you pull them off. So it looks as if he was left on after 2 warnings, and he's now just had his blue card as well. So some discussion going on here as to reasons for it, I'm gathering. But yeah, he's off for 2 minutes now.
And are they rolling substitutes in this tournament today? Once substituted, can you be reintroduced?
Yeah, absolutely. And what they can't do now is bring a substitute on for the player in the sin bin, obviously. But yeah, it's rolling subs, particularly in this heat now. It's very important that we use rolling subs and people take on a lot of water. So notice at the moment Guernsey just had the first player come back on, so they're back up to 4 now, and trying to bide out the time until their full complement comes back on the pitch.
Yeah, well, no damage done as yet for Guernsey. It's no score during this period when the sin bin has been invoked. So Guernsey in possession at the moment. No need to hurry anything. They'll be waiting for their player, or their second player who was sin bin, to come back on as soon as possible. And we've got Brayo on the ball now over on the far side there. Forward to Potter. Shielding the ball. Back to Brayo and back to the keeper. Brayo out to the far side once again. They really are just trying to keep the ball near the back there, but almost conceding a corner. Bit of a bobble on the pitch there. This Foots Lane pitch hasn't seen a lot of action in its usual capacity as home to Guernsey Football Club. With their not being able to travel or invite opposing teams over here because of travel restrictions. But nevertheless, there are a few dry patches out there on the pitch. And Guernsey will be back to full complement very shortly, if my calculations are correct. We've got Steve Potter with a ball out wide and an opportunity to shoot here perhaps. Potter trying to lay the ball back, but he's down onto the ground, and we've got a decision in favour of Guernsey there, I think, and perhaps some punishment being meted out here for that challenge. The Guernsey player going over. It's certainly a free kick in a dangerous position, and Guernsey, as you will have seen there, perhaps back to full strength with Trevor Crittall coming back on at the end of his punishment and his visit to the sin bin. We're coming up to the end of this first half here. 1-1 between Guernsey men over 60s and England men over 65s. Just by my watch, 2 minutes left of this first half. Potter over the ball with the shot, and it's blocked. Still Guernsey on the attack, and the shot came in there from down. And it was fairly easy for the keeper to gather that one. So England back on the attack now, still looking full of energy. Jones on the ball now for England. Forward to Payne. That's a lovely ball through to Rowell, and a very good piece of positioning there by the Guernsey keeper to keep that one out. Got up close to the shot maker and was able to block it very effectively. So we've got Colin Hayden on for England now. He is now on the ball. Through to Jones. Back to Hayden. And then back to the keeper there. Perhaps going to have one more chance of an attack before the half-time whistle blows, perhaps. We've got Payne on the ball now. Over the far side there to Rowell. And then forward back to Payne. Oh, that was a lovely 1-2 and through the legs of the keeper. And a decent move, worthy of taking the lead just before half-time. And England take a 2-1 lead here on pitch 2 against Guernsey men's over 60s. So not a lot of time before half-time for Guernsey to try and get back on level terms. And England certainly putting together there the best move of the match, I think. And a very forceful shot finding its way through the keeper's legs, and referee Genna blows his whistle for half-time. And the score here on pitch 2 is Guernsey men over 60s 1, England men over 65s 2. And we'll be back in, I'm told, about 9 or 10 minutes for the second half here of this match on Guernsey Walking Football Club's website here at Foots Lane. Lane then for second half commentary of this first match on pitch 2 between Guernsey men over 60s in blue and England men over 65s in white. The current score 2-1 to England. That's after they opened the scoring through Brendan O'Mahony from Cheshire, and then Guernsey were able to equalise through Paul Rogers, only for England to take the lead just before half time with a decent 1-2 between Payne and Rowell. And that put them back into the lead. So 2-1 then to England. And we've got Rowell forward then to, that was Payne again, and then Jones on the ball here. Bit of contact was there, the referees let that one go. A few changes for England then. They have been more dominant than the scoreline would suggest, I think it's fair to say. But Guernsey have 25 minutes in this second half to get back on level terms, and they've certainly looked reasonably dangerous when going forward, have Guernsey. So tidying up there at the back. More changes for Guernsey, we've got a few new faces on there at the moment, but a ball going out wide goes straight out of play. Trevor Crittall unable to get to that. So O'Mahony on the ball then for England. Back to Rowell. Good interception there by Guernsey, and they now have an opportunity to attack. A decent pace shown there by the Guernsey number 9, Trevor Crittall. So we were talking earlier with Stuart Langworthy, there's certainly an art and a skill to moving across the pitch quickly without breaking into a run. Certainly well executed there by Crittall. But England on the attack once more. A lofted ball, not called for height. Rowell into Jones. Looked like he was going to shape to shoot there, lays it off instead, and the shot comes in, and an emphatic shot it was too from Rowell. Michael Rowell of Newcastle, and that's England very early in this second half, 2 minutes in indeed, have extended their lead to 3-1. So I was saying that their dominance wasn't reflected in the scoreline, perhaps it is now. And are we going to see England begin to run away with this as Guernsey possibly tire? As I say, fewer changes for Guernsey seen thus far. But they do now have John Casey on the pitch, the number 10 there. And good defence from the front there with Mahoney. A shot comes in from Payne. But that's well saved again. Certainly Guernsey's keeper's been in the thick of it this afternoon. Interception from Guernsey. Brayo out to the right. Crittall goes after it. Manages to keep it in. Forward to Casey. Shields the ball, looks for another option, and it gets to Brayo. And all the way back to the Guernsey keeper. It's not quite back to him because he's doesn't quite go into his area. And well, there's a claim from Rowell that there was some running going on there, but it's not called, and so Guernsey have possession once again. Crittall on the ball, forward to Casey, unable to control that one, and so concedes possession to Jones. This is dangerous for Guernsey. Another attacking opportunity, but good defensive work from Crittall sees that danger snuffed out. Braden on the ball now for England. Cross to Omani, who opened the scoring earlier. Nice ball out wide. And back into Jones. Looked like he was shaping up to shoot there. Out wide to Rowell, can't quite gather that. And I was saying, Stuart Langworthy, that England were probably more dominant than the scoreline suggested, but now that they've extended their lead, perhaps a fairer reflection of what we've seen.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, in the first half, the Guernsey keeper certainly made 2 or 3 excellent saves, and I think we hit the post once or twice as well. But yeah, we eventually made that extra player count. I think we score our. I was watching the other game at the time, sorry, but I think we scored our second goal when we had an extra player advantage. So
I think it was actually it was just after Guernsey were back to their full complement again. So perhaps some tiredness creeping in though for having to defend while down to 3 men.
Yeah, quite possibly. And the other thing is, once they got their other player back on, suddenly you change your formation again, and maybe that's where, if your concentration isn't good, a few gaps open up, and maybe England took advantage of that. What's lovely to hear, I've just been talking to the technical guys here, this match is currently being watched in 5 or 6 different countries around the world, which is wonderful. As we said earlier, it's about getting walking football out there and people seeing this as a spectacle, and hopefully that will lead to more people enjoying the sport and trying to take it up themselves.
And a word about the demographic that this is being particularly pitched to. I mean, it would be easy to imagine that there is a kind of restricted audience for this, but actually for both participation and watching, you're out there trying to get to all quarters, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's true to say at competition and at international level, it starts at over 50s men and over 40s women, but you're finding in England at the moment and over here in Guernsey that there's an awful lot of younger people who are now taking up the sport, maybe people with long-term health conditions or people recovering from injuries, people who've just seen the sport and see it as a good way of getting themselves fit. So yeah, it's the competitive demographic is over 50, but yeah, we're finding a lot of younger people now taking the sport up, and actually some people being prescribed by hospitals and GPs to actually take the sport up because it's so good for health and well-being.
Well, that's excellent to hear, and certainly a very rapidly expanding game, and England still dominating this particular match with their lead 3-1 now. We've had 6 minutes of this second half. So Guernsey are going to be trying to get back into this match if they can. Oh, robbed there by Omani, and oh, I thought that was in, but another really excellent save by the Guernsey keeper there to keep the score at 3-1. Casey forward, or back rather, to his defender. Brayo on the ball now. Martel out to Brayo. Oh, and that's well intercepted by Rowell, but he can't control it. And so the ball goes out. So whichever country you are watching this live stream from, you're very welcome here to Foots Lane in the heart of Guernsey on this very sunny day, where we're watching the first of 3 matches that will take place on this pitch 2 in this tournament here, where England over 65s are leading 3-1 against Guernsey over 60s. Goals from Omani for England, then Rogers for Guernsey with the equaliser, Payne for England, and then a further goal from Rowell just at the beginning of this second half. So that's a chipped ball forward for Guernsey, trying to build another attack here with Coleman on the ball. Oh, it's a fine shot, and Casey tries to wrap a foot around that, but couldn't quite get his footing right. But that's well, you've got shooting boots like that on, you've always got a chance, and Guernsey's still looking for a way back into this match. That's unable to control that one. So certainly Martel left in front of his keeper at the back there, trying to spray the ball around, get Guernsey going forward at every opportunity. And there's a substitution about to be made here for England, and it's going to be James Trant of Eastleigh who's going to come on to replace Dave Jones of Blackburn and Chorley. So on comes Trant and straight into the action, taking the free kick. Payne back out to Trant, and with the early shot there, but hasn't quite got into the rhythm of that. I think actually he might have been punished for breaking into a run as he approached that ball, because the free kick's gone Guernsey's way. So it was high and wide, but it wouldn't have counted on the basis of that. So further substitutions, this time among the Guernsey contingent. Numbers 20 and 27 coming on. Number 27 there is Steve Down. And I can't tell you who's wearing the number 20 shirt, because there is no number 20 on my team sheet that I've been supplied with here. So obviously some late change being made there to the squad numbers. And I don't recognise the chap, so he'll have to go by the name of number 20 from now on. In the meantime, it's Brendan O'Mahony of Cheshire on the ball now for England. Cut out by Martel, but O'Mahony had the shot in the end. Charged down. Braden on the ball now for England. Long raking ball across the field for Rowell to pick up. Payne, I should say, beg your pardon. Looking to get forward, but it's blocked. And a high ball forward there from O'Mahony. Referee Genner explaining his decision. So 3-1 then to England, and we're approaching the halfway stage of this second half. Guernsey on the ball. And the worked a shot there quite well, but overhead height. Leaning back on it as he was losing his balance a little. O'Mahony out wide to Rowell. Back to Braden. They can take their time, England, here. They've got a comfortable lead. Payne on the ball now. Back to O'Mahony. Kept the ball in well there. Fashioned another opportunity and sent out wide here. Oh, Guernsey doing well to charge that down in the end. Good shooting opportunity, and in the end the shot from Rowell was very high. But good work there from O'Mahony, and Trant trying to work the shooting opportunity, but the Guernsey defender's not sold on the dummy there. Trant getting the ball back to Rowell. Plenty of options there, lots of players calling for it, and it's Hayden going down the left there for Guernsey, who've managed to steal back possession and being very careful to walk to that ball is the number 27 for Guernsey, Steve Down. All defenders, all the players back for England, protecting what they've got, and in the end the shot coming in. Couldn't quite wrap his left around that one, Steve Potter, and well wide, and heads drop a little bit, but they've still got just 12 minutes to get themselves back into this match up to 3-1 down. Contact there, and the referees alerting the bench there to his decision. There was too much contact there from the England player is the decision, so Guernsey again have the ball. shielding the ball well there. Looking for more options. Good defence from England. And a good save. In the end, they can't fashion anything from that pressure. But Guernsey have the ball back once more. And back to the keeper from Martel. And it's off Rowell for a Guernsey possession. Coleman on the ball, looking for options once again. Very close attentions from Omani there. Back to Martel. Desperately signalling for movement from his teammates, but not getting enough of it. And England able to take possession back. Trant on the ball, out wide to Rowell. And it's back to Hayden. Again, he's the captain's armband there, trying to marshal his troops out wide, so he's got an option, but instead it's back to the keeper. And Cameron sends it out to Trant. Forward to Payne. There just seems to be more space and more options when England go forward than when Guernsey have done. Coleman again, stuck for a few options. And the ball hits the ref, but he's trying to get it through to number 20. Eventually does. It's a better bit of football from Guernsey. Decent movement. A high shot in the end from Steve Potter. But a little bit more promising than what we have seen. So 3-1 then to England. As we get to the 9 minutes to go mark. Hayden again marshalling his troops. Sends it forward to Rowell. There's contact there, but minimal, nothing called. And so Trant has it on the left for England. Hayden on the ball now. A few words there for the England captain. I think Jeff Martel was claiming that there had been some infringement on him, but now the referee, who obviously disagreed at the time, has decided to have a word with Martel. He clearly thought that he got the wrong end of that decision. So he's now getting a bit of a talking to and a shake of the hands, and we play on. So Hayden for England, forward to Trant. Omani giving him another option on this side. He tries to go through a couple of players. Does well to retain possession there. And Trant tries to get the ball out wide, but there's an interception there from the Guernsey player. Steve Down, rather frustrated that he didn't get a decision as the ball struck the England player's arm. Trant on the ball, little 1-2 there, sends it out to Gladwell, who's a substitute who's come on for Grimsby. And so still 3-1 with 7 minutes remaining in this first match on pitch 2. England leading 3-1 and a high ball there, and Stuart Langworthy 3-1 with just a few minutes to go. What can a team do to apply extra pressure to try and get it back in a match in walking football?
Well, you probably noticed looking at this, most teams play with one at the back and 3 across the middle and 1 up front. Certainly in the last few minutes, if you want to get a goal back, you'd push an extra forward up. You may even just play with 2 at the back and then 3 forward, and try and bypass the midfield and get the ball forward quickly. Just as an aside, England have just scored again in the other match, in the ladies' match, and they're now 2-0 up. So looking like a good first set of matches for the England teams. But it looks like England are in pretty much control of this game, passing the ball around well. I haven't been watching for 5 minutes, but looking at the game now, they've got a good shape about them. You can see quite clearly now the 1-3-1, and old John Cooper's playing there with a big bandage on. He broke his wrist playing in a practice game a couple of weeks ago, and has now got a massive piece of foam over his wrist. And John was in my over 60s team for a while and scored the winner when we played Greece out in Crete in 2019, a few years ago.
And so you're, as well as being a coach of the over 40s women, you're an experienced player in this format of the game yourself, Stuart? Yeah,
I've been playing now for 8 years, and I've managed the England over 60s team now for 4 years. And there's 3 of this over 65 team who during lockdown have become more mature, shall we say, and are now part of the over 65s team. Roy Gladwell, who's got a fierce left foot shot, he's on the pitch, as is number 12 James Trant, who's just given the ball away, and John Cooper with his arm in a cast. They were all part of our over 60 squad, and have now joined this new over 65s team.
And as regards to the format here, you were saying you've missed a few minutes of this game because you're watching another one at the same time. Is this something that's becoming familiar to you with the tournaments like this, or is this unusual?
This is quite unusual for internationals, but we were very keen to work with the Guernsey group to try and get as much football played as we could. And it's a little distracting to have the 2 games going on at once, but we can get more teams playing international walking football on an occasion like this, and that's what at this time we felt was more important. I think it's probably the first time that England have actually played 2 games at one time. Although, no, actually we did play. When we played Wales at St George's Park, we had 2 games going on at the same time as well. So it's not that unusual, but we prefer to have 1 game so that the whole focus is on that 1 game. But this is a great spectacle, and there's a good crowd in here watching both games.
Yeah, indeed, and we've certainly got good weather for it. And England, as you say, to the good, 2 goals to the good in each of our matches. We've just got just over 3 minutes left in this match. This first match here on pitch 2 at Foots Lane here in Guernsey, and it's just a reminder of the score. It's England 3, Guernsey 1, and Guernsey really running out of time now to get back into this match. Oh, a bit of contact there, surely. A bit of a push, but Brayo sending the ball through forward for Guernsey, but it's cut out really well there. And here's Cooper with a shooting opportunity, and Gladwell gets the rebound, and it's in for England. Gladwell of Grimsby with the 4th goal for England, and surely that wraps things up for the visitors with just 3 minutes to go here at Foots Lane. So yeah, that was a pretty fierce shot there from Cooper, parried by the keeper and fell quite nicely for Gladwell, but a thunderous shot. You were talking about the power of about his shooting, and he's demonstrated it there for England. 4-1, it's got to be pretty much over now with a shot going over there from Guernsey. Stuart, your thoughts?
Yeah, Roy Gladwell he's got a very, very fierce shot in him, and John Cooper is an out-and-out striker. When he gets the ball to his feet, 1 thing on his mind, and that's to turn and shoot. So I'm not surprised, it's if he's fired a shot in and it's rebounded, Roy Gladwell in the right place, great finish.
Yeah, it certainly was. Certainly no hope for the Guernsey custodian to get anything on that rebounded shot, but Guernsey trying to fashion something here, perhaps find a second, but the shot is well over. And so 4-1 then to England, the result of this match. Certainly not in any doubt any longer, but Guernsey will desperately want to find a second before the final whistle blows. And with that aim in mind, here's Brayo coming forward. Nice little turn there from Coleman, trying to find space for a shot, back out to Brayo. Guernsey unable to retain control of the ball there, and so Cooper out to Gladwell. Trant making a foray forward. And another shot from Gladwell this time, not quite as well met as the previous effort. And so it's Guernsey back in possession once more. Four-one down then, Guernsey on the attack here in blue. And is this a chance for Brayo? He doesn't quite meet that well. Didn't quite get his foot over that, and so Cameron starts again for England. Goals for Omani, Payne, Rowell and Gladwell for England this afternoon. I've seen them convincing winners in this first match. Cooper forward, trying to fly in Gladwell, back to Cooper again. Oh, neat little turn there, did very well to get the shot away. But again, the Guernsey keeper kept busy, has managed to fend that one out. And there is the final whistle from referee Genner in this first match here on pitch 2 in this walking football tournament in Guernsey. And the final score, after goals from Omani, Payne, Rowell and Gladwell, with just the one from Rogers for Guernsey, sees England men over 65s winning 4-1 against Guernsey men over 60s. We'll be back shortly with our second match here on pitch 2 at Foots Lane.